Hey Ziva, say hello to everybody. Say my name's Ziva. I live out here in this pen with my partner in crime, Midnight. And Midnight has some issues going on with his fur that we have to address. We've got some info and some shampoos and things. I'm hoping we can get rid of this. Come here, buddy. Midnight. He is preoccupied right now, but he does have some little issues here that he's had it before and we've gotten rid of it, but it's pitiful. We've got him some really good flea collars and some flea treatments and stuff, so they're doing better. Say hey to everybody, Midnight. Say hello. And these are my watchdogs, and they watch out for us. If there's any noise at all, in the physical world that is, they let us know. Anyways. Good morning, guys. Tony here. Sunday morning, July the 25th. It's about 9:20 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, South Carolina time. I hope you enjoyed the little clip of my watchdogs, Ziva and Midnight. They have been a big blessing to me here because, for one thing, they alert us when there's anything outside. So and so they've also helped me though with my spiritual walk, because they've actually helped me to understand that some of the things that I heard may not have been of the physical world, because they didn't bark. I mean, simply that. I mean, like with the knocking on the door, the shofars, even that noise I heard early Saturday morning at 2 a.m. It sounded like, at first, like animals were howling at the sound of sirens, because that happens all the time out here. I know, because we're way out in the country, but we hear there's a main artery. Our road is a main artery into a different part of the city or the town. You know, not the city, but the town. And the dogs and animals go crazy when they hear them, and so do my dogs. My dogs are the first ones to start howling. They hate that sound. So the fact that they weren't stirring about makes me wonder, you know, that this really was something, you know, in the supernatural realm that I can't explain it. I mean, it was obviously we could all hear it. Well, definitely, some people hear it better than others, but it was definitely there. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed seeing them, and I wanted to talk about a few things today. In spite of the fact that we're not gone, I just want to talk about specifically Daniel chapter 5 and the story of the writing on the wall. Excuse me. And I wanted to kind of connect that when I'm all done. It's just the one chapter. It's not very big. I want to read the whole chapter, and I want to connect that to what's going on in the world. It's not exactly a shadow and type, but it's definitely a connection there that I think we could all recognize and see how it's important to recognize the writing on the wall, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and after that, guys, I may speak a little bit, but then I want to bring on my daughter Aleia. She wants to say a few words for all the birthday wishes that she got yesterday. So, anyways, with that being said, I'm going to begin. Get your Bibles and follow along if you like. I'm reading out of the King James Version. And I'm doing this on the camera because the sound quality is a little better than the computer. So if you got a Bible, then grab it, follow along. If not, you can always look this up later. And so Daniel chapter 5, here we go. Belteshazzar the king made a great feast to the 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the gold and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine, and they praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. And in the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed. His thoughts troubled him, so that his joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud, Bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belteshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father the king, I say thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as so much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpretation of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, where found the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show thee the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake unto Daniel, Art thou Daniel, which are the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that the light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of this thing. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof. Thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck. And be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the most high God Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would he slew, and whom he would be kept alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would be put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and then took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men. And his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was in the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointeth over whosoever he will. And thou, his son, O Belteshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knowest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords and thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine from them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold and of brass and of iron and wood and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and who are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and his writing was written. And this is the writing that was within, that was written. Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belteshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belteshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, and being about 62 years old. That would be 62 years old. So guys, that was chapter 5. And basically where I'm going with this is that you know the story. And basically what happened here was that King Belteshazzar, being puffed up in himself, being arrogant and proud, you know, and just with ego and whatnot, he had felt himself so powerful and so big. Now remember, at the time that this happened, the Medes and Persians were encamped around the walls of Babylon. Now, the walls of Babylon were fortified, double-walled. They had the river Euphrates, I believe, the great river, had come. This is how they got their water supply, was from the river. It came into the castle, and there were and there was a gate where it come through, and then the guards would guard that at all times. And they had plenty of food, enough to last for a long time, so they weren't even concerned about the Medes and Persians that were waiting outside the camp to invade them. In fact, he was so arrogant and proud that he decided, you know what, I'm going to throw a party in spite of it, you know. And not only am I going to throw a big party and have revelry and drinking, drunkenness and concubines and, you know, all this evilness and pervertedness, I'm going to also send my servants to get the golden, you know, cups, the goblets and containers and things that was, you know, taken by my father Nebuchadnezzar from Judah and from the temple, and bring them into my party and drink wine out of them. In other words, to disgrace, dishonor, and blaspheme the name of the Most High God. Even though Nebuchadnezzar had believed in the Lord after his 7 years, he spent 7 years in the wilderness with the heart of a beast. So when he finally came back to his mind, when his mind came back, he completely and totally served the Lord. He learned his lesson, and he no longer, because remember, before that, he was forcing people to worship his image and stuff. You know, just like basically the parallel of, it was Daniel 3. As a matter of fact, if you go read Daniel 3, you'll see what I'm talking about. Nebuchadnezzar made a statue, and I've talked about this in another video. There's been things about it. There's a parallel between Daniel 3 and Revelation 13. I mean, it's a mirror, just about. It's a mirror, and it's two totally different things, but it's totally the same. So Nebuchadnezzar was an evil king, but the Lord straightened him out. And his son Belteshazzar knew all this. And still, in spite of it all, he decided to profane the name of God and his holy vessels. I mean, these holy vessels, you know, come straight out of the temple, out of the showroom, where the showbread was kept and stuff. These were holy articles. You know, they had a very specific purpose, meaning, and they were sanctified, very holy. And God is never mocked. Okay, you might think that you're getting over on God this 1 minute, but then in the next minute, the hand will appear, just like in the story. And the hand appeared and wrote on the wall that your kingdom is numbered. You've been weighed into balance and found wanting, and your kingdom will be divided. So, in the very night, I mean, literally the very night, he died. And the kings of Persia invaded the castle through the waterway, because what they had done was they knew that waterway was an entrance through the walls, because the water had to get in there. That's how they got the water flow. So they diverted the water and got the water down low enough where they could swim in. Now, I'm going to post a link about this. I watched this morning, so that's why I'm, you know, it's fresh in my mind. I'm going to post a link to this video that I watched, and at the end of it, there's a little nugget that I'm going to give you here at the end that happened yesterday, and it connects to that. So there's a little nugget there at the end, and I want to share. So I believe God was leading me to share this story. Now, the reason why there's a connection, guys, and this is it. The kingdoms of the earth, okay, they have all become very arrogant, proud, boastful, just flaunting their power around. Now at some point they're just like, you know, oh, we can make the world do anything we want. We have all the power. We have all the money. They have become arrogant in their ways and wicked. And they already got all the money. So they don't, it's not that they're doing this just for money. I mean, the rich elite people of the world own all, they already have basically it's 1% of the world's population owns 90% of the world's money. That's the elite, and they're powerful. They run the governments, but they're so arrogant in their ways that now they have sought to create a new world order, a new system of government that controls the whole world. Because now they're not happy with just having the money and the influence. They want all the power too. They want to basically put people under a form of submission and slavery. The whole world is basically going to wind up becoming a communist world, according to Revelation. So in a one world government, one world currency, people's going to be forced to worship the image of this horrendous system of government called the beast. Now, in their arrogance and their pride, they have begun to profane the holy things of God. We can start with the left liberal, the far left radical liberals who have taken God's holy rainbow. This rainbow is a covenant of God's permanent promise, his eternal promise to man. It's a holy covenant, guys. It's kind of like the articles in the temple. It's a holy artifact, even though it's not physical like those goblets and things. It's still a holy symbol of God. They have taken this symbol and they've perverted it and used it to promote an evil agenda. And I don't think you know where I'm going with this. I don't need to say it. We know what they use the rainbow for. They've stolen that. And not only that, now they have taken the other things. The daily, you could say it's like the abomination of desolation. It might not physically be the temple in Israel, but the temple, the daily sacrifice is being taken away because they're putting limits, and they're causing people not to be able to worship and sing and so forth in many places in the world because of the outbreak and stuff like that. The guys, they know what they're doing here. They seem to be picking on the Christian and conservative people for a reason, because this is the devil at work. This is definitely the devil. And not only that, but they're even going even further than that. Now they're promoting wickedness in movies and television. They're making bad language more and more commonplace. Whereas a PG-13 movie used to not have any cussing in it. It was just maybe slightly violent, maybe slightly leaning toward the violent side, but there wasn't no cussing. Now you can't watch a PG-13 movie because it's what rated R used to be 10, 15 years ago. You can't even watch it. They've got worse stuff on TV now, on regular TV, and I don't even have it anymore. I just got rid of it. But they've got stuff on regular TV now worse than R-rated movies were when I was a kid, much worse. I mean, almost to the X-rated level, they're so bad. I mean, the words and the kind of language they use, guys, it's just sickening. It's just absolutely sickening. And it just makes me so angry. I can't even watch TV anymore because of these wicked people. And there's no reason for it, guys. I remember watching black and white shows, TV shows, even like, Gunsmoke. I mean, these shows had a little bit of violence, granted, but they were clean. And most of them always had references to God, a Little House on the Prairie, things like that. Guys, it's just not like that anymore. The shows that come out now are just, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for them to be playing. I wouldn't want them in my house. You know what I'm saying? I'd be embarrassed to have them play it on my TV. I can't believe that people just let all this stuff just go. It's like commonplace. Yeah, people cuss in real life, sure. But I mean, do you really want to promote this kind of behavior? Anyways, I digress. It's getting that way everywhere. It's every walk of life. The government is promoting through media, through campaigns and public, businesses and things. They're promoting these evil agendas, and they're corrupting the minds of people and destroying families. They're promoting the idea of infidelity on every TV show there is. I mean, from the children's shows all the way up, they're promoting infidelity and fornication on a mass level. Is sickening. So anyways, guys, what have I been saying? Shofars, angelic choirs singing, people have been hearing all kinds of crazy things, all these signs and confirmations that we're getting. Guys, this is the writing on the wall, the signs in the heavens. The Bible literally says in Luke, there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. It says there will be great signs in the heavens. It says that the heavens will be shaken. It says that the seas and the waves will be roaring. It says that there will be distress of nations with perplexity. it says that men's hearts would be failing them for looking after the things that are coming to the earth. What we got coming to the earth, guys? We got pandemics, we got asteroids, we got murder hornets, we got birds falling out of the air, we got earthquakes, we got hurricanes and tornadoes and natural disasters the world over, and not to mention the civil unrest, the violence in the street, the lawlessness everywhere. Police departments being defunded because of this left liberal movement that they think is like the best thing ever. I mean, there's no law, there's no order. But that's what they want, guys. They want to break us down. They want to divide us and conquer us from the inside out. This is the writing on the wall. We are in the days of the revelation. We are in the very beginning of the tribulation days is about to start. We're at the end of the birthing pains and right at the threshold of the tribulation. Guys, Jesus is coming soon. He must, because if he doesn't, then we'll all be here in the tribulation, and we know that that's the wrath of God. The wrath of God is going to come, just like when the writing happened on the wall. Was Daniel killed that night? Of course not. Daniel was right with God. We're right with God through Jesus Christ, okay? No other reason. But we're right because we trust him and we believe in him. That's what makes us right. We are like Daniel. We will be given, this is kind of this is in a way like a shadow type. We will be given a purple robe. Or scarlet robe. Scarlet's purple. Purple represents royalty. We will be given a purple robe. We will have chains of gold symbolically. And gold represents leadership, kingship. It represents purity and strength of our God, because everything in heaven seems to be like, have a gold theme. The streets are paved with gold. And so we are a shadow type of Daniel coming out of the beast system that is about to be destroyed. The handwritings on the wall, guys, is unmistakable. I mean, who can discern the writing on the walls? Who is it, guys? Who can discern it? Who can read the writing on the walls? Can the evil people of the world? Can the fence riders, the people who claim to be Christians but don't even know God because they don't even know what the gospel really is? They don't know nothing about God. They go to church every Sunday. They go to Sunday school every Sunday. They talk about God. They come to work with their condemnation. Did you go to church Sunday? Did you do this? Did you do that? And yet their own lives reflect the evil that's everywhere. It's a farce, okay? I'm not saying that all Christians are like that. A true Christian is saved and born again. I'm talking about the so-called, the wannabes, or the try-to-bees, or the make you believe the bees, whatever you want to call them. They're not true Christians. Guys, they're hypocrites. And like Jesus says, they're vipers. Because not only do they not know how to get to heaven, but they're preventing others from going as well. So guys, you got to see this. We are Daniel. We are, in a sense, we are the ones who can read the writing on the wall. We talk about it to each other. We're trying to spread the word. We're telling the world, hey, the writing's on the wall. What are we saying? The signs are there. The signs. The writing is on the wall. The hand has appeared. The power of the living God is moving in the air. The power of the living God is everywhere, and he's showing us what is about to happen. And he's given us a little taste, just a teeny little taste of what's about to happen when the Great Tribulation begins. And guys, all I can say is this. If you don't heed the warning, and maybe it's even too late. It's kind of ironical if you think about it. But Belteshazzar was too late. By the time he understood the writing on the wall, he had already done the thing that caused it to happen. So we're entering into that time where the world has gone so dark and they have committed so many atrocities that once the writing appears, it's too late. And what did Jesus say? He says it will be like travail upon a woman. And once it begins, they shall not escape. God's not going to, I heard a watchman the other day say, what's God going to do? Is he going to, I think it was Brother Chooch, as a matter of fact. What's God going to do when the birthing pain stops? Is he going to close up the wound and keep the baby from being born? No. Once the birthing pains start, a child is going to be born and a holy nation will emerge. We know this. So the birthing pains have started. We know that we're not only in the season, but in the 11th hour and at the very end of that, because the birthing pains have gotten more frequent and closer together, just like a labor of a woman having a child. And that baby is about to be born. And once it's born, this world is going to go dark. And there's going to be wrath of God like no one has ever seen from the beginning of time until now. It's going to be horrific, and it's going to be exactly what they asked for. And I hate to say that, but it's exactly what they've asked for, because they have taken no regard for God, no regard for family, no regard for moral values, no regard for each other, no regard for human life, no regard for anything except themselves, their own greed, and their own personal power trip. So guys, that's my message. That's my message, and I'm gonna put this link in about the story. Guys, it's a very good little video, and basically he's just telling the story of Daniel 5 too. But he's a little more elegant than me, and there's a little more, there's some more stuff in there. But he doesn't add that last little twist, is what I'm saying. That this is like a shadow type of us. It may not be exactly a shadow type, but it is definitely a reflection of the Christian church being the Daniel of today, and that writing on the wall being the signs that are happening everywhere. The writings on the wall, guys. Tribulation is upon us, and all it's going to be now is a matter of God making the decision to send Christ to come and get us, and that could happen any second. So be ready and be watching. It could happen today. It could happen next week. It could happen next month, but it's going to happen soon. And I personally believe it's going to happen before the fall, and I definitely believe it's going to happen before the end of the year. But I could be wrong. I'm not writing that in stone. I could certainly be wrong, and I would be in total shock if I was with all this happened. But then again, God is sovereign. He's the king. He's the almighty God, and he's going to do what he wants to do, and his will be done. And I wouldn't want it any other way. So whatever he decides is where I will be, right here with you guys and witnessing and telling people about Jesus. And that's where we should all be. And like I said, I'm going to post that link for that video, and I recommend going and watch it, guys. It's not really long, but it's really good. It's a really good little video. I think that Daniel 5 is a powerful story, and so is Daniel 3. If you get time to read Daniel 3 and Daniel 13, you can do the comparison yourself. It's very obvious what's going on there. And the end of the video, there is a number to text someone. I don't have it in front of me now, but there's a number to text somebody or something. It might be the text the person that wrote they did the video. I don't remember. All I remember though is it had 333 in the number, and it had 555 in the number. And it's interesting because 555 in Strong's means to be torn off, or to be torn off. Hang on one second, guys. I'll be right. I'm going to go check. I want to see what that says again so I can tell you. I forgot. In Greek, 55 means a putting off. And in Hebrew, it means strength. And 333, of course, means to observe carefully, and it means a ruler in Israel. So I thought that was interesting that was in that. But here's the part that ties to that. That's what I was telling you at the beginning that happened to me yesterday. Okay, when me and Leah was leaving our last stop, we were on our way home. We were coming down this one long road to get to before we get to our town, and we got behind a car that had some letters, and it had 555. And I said, Leah, look, that tag says 555. And she instantly holds up her phone. She said, yeah, it is 5:55 p.m. I'm like, what? I mean, the literal, and then right after she said it, she says, well, now it turned to 5:56. But literally the second I said, look at that tag, it says 555. She holds up her phone, and it's 5:55 p.m. I didn't even realize it was that late. I mean, I thought it was earlier than that. I mean, we've been out all day. And that took me by shock. But then to come home and watch this video and then see that number at the end, 333, observe carefully, 555. That's 3 times 555 appeared within just a span of maybe 2 hours at the most. So that tells me something, guys. That tells me that God's hand was in me watching that video, and maybe his hand was also in me telling you guys this story, because I think it's really important that we understand that the writing's on the wall. And that, and now that the writing's on the wall, we can rest assured that there ain't nobody making a mistake. The watchmen aren't mistaken, guys. They may be wrong about the dates. The people that are setting the dates or looking at dates, we may not be able to get those dates right. We're guessing. But we know that we're not only in the season, but we're at the very end of the 11th hour. In other words, we're on the threshold, the very preface of Jesus returning for his church, because the birthing pains, not only have they started, remember, travail, birthing pains, the labor. It starts out in contractions that happen quite a distance apart. And as the time gets closer for the baby to be born, they get stronger and they get closer together. That's what's been happening in the world. Everything, even the earthquakes have gotten more abundant and in more frequency, just like Jesus said, earthquakes in diverse places. The hurricanes last year was record-breaking. There was a record-breaking hurricane number. We was in the well into the Greek alphabet when the season ended. And the earthquakes, not only earthquakes, but the tornadoes. We've had a record number of volcanoes and tornadoes and all the pestilences. You got the sea, you got other stuff. Now they're talking about the monkeypox. What in the world is that? The case of the monkeypox has been reported in America. My goodness, not only the murder hornets, and that was a pretty big deal when it was out. These things can kill you, and they come in swarms. And then those swarms of locusts that was as big as New York City, they say could swoop down on a just hypothetically, in a farm that's 100 acres, and in 30 seconds completely annihilate every green thing in it. That's how many locusts there were. That's biblical, guys. That's like the Exodus. That's biblical plagues. And guys, God is shaking the earth. And now they talk about the moon wobbling and stuff, and the tides being higher than normal. And because of that, we're going to have mass flooding and, seaboard flooding. It could get really bad because of the wobbling of the moon, which is kind of normal in recent years, but they don't really know what's causing it. But I know what's causing it, and you know what's causing it, because God said not only in the end times would he shake the earth, he would also shake the heavens. And the earth would reel and rock and forth, back and forth like a drunkard. Guys, we're feeling that in the spiritual world. And that stuff I heard Saturday morning was no joke. That's no joke. That is creepy. And everybody that I've had listen to it here at my house can hear it really well. And it's just, and my wife was taken off by it. She was shaking. She says, my goodness, what is that? I could just tell when she listened to it how scary it was to her. And my son TJ and Tyler and Aleia, all of them said the same thing. That's weird. That's not normal. We all live in a country. We all heard the sounds. That's not normal. It's scary. Something in the spiritual world. This is God showing us. He's showing us signs. He's not showing everybody these signs, guys. We're a Christian community of born-again believers. He's showing us the signs. Why? So we can spread the word. You guys, the harvest is plenty. The workers are few. And if you're out there, get busy. Get busy, because we don't have much time. And there is a lot of people unsaved. And that brings me to my last point before I get Aleia on here. Guys, my son TJ, I can't go into his life story. That's not my testimony to tell. Okay, that's his testimony. He's 31 years old. Okay, so I'm not gonna give his information so that he can be turned into an object of judgment. All right, that's between him and you and God. What he wants to tell about his life and his testimony, but he has a extremely powerful testimony. And TJ he's got a heart of gold, and he's out there in the forefront, in the gutter. Okay, he's living in a tent in the woods. He's out there fighting for the Lord and spreading the gospel. He's in a place where some of us just can't be. I can't be there. He's in a place where he's constantly exposed to homeless people, drug addicts, people who are at the end of their rope, guys. He is being able to witness to some of the people that we could never get close to. Just like Hourly Watch, Christine and Patrick. They go out into the streets and they find the homeless people. But TJ lives among them. He has an opportunity. God has set this up for him. And he can't come back here right now. And I wish there was some way that I could help him in that situation. I could give him a little money now and again, but that's about all I can do. I got a lot going on here. But I try to help him, and I certainly talk to him and give him encouragement. And so he's out there doing that, guys. And I'm only telling you this, that is, if the Lord leads you, and this is totally up to you. I don't ask for donations for my channel, guys. God has blessed me richly with my job, with my wife, my family. And guys, I'm a simple man. I don't need much. I got my provisions. I got a few things that I need. I got my little guitar hobby and my painting and whatever. I'm happy. I'm happy serving the Lord, and I don't need anything. I don't ask for anything. I don't make no money off of YouTube. I wouldn't take it if they tried to. As many times I've got emails where people wanting to be, to pay me to put some video game advertisement or something on. God, the only advertisements you'll ever see on YouTube is ones they put there because they wanted to, and I had no choice. Because I do not get any money for YouTube. But TJ, like I said, he's struggling. He's living in a tent. He needs provisions, daily provisions, but he's out there witnessing for the Lord. He has Tourette's syndrome. That makes it really, he has a really bad case of it, guys. I know you can hear it in his voice and the kicks, the motor ticks and things, but TJ cannot keep a regular job, and it's hard to get a job when you're homeless anyways. But the reason why he can't keep a regular job, and I'm probably telling you more than I ought to be, but I'm just telling you I'm his father, and I love him, and I just want you to know the truth. He cannot keep a steady job. He's got bipolar syndrome associated with Tourette's. He has emotional issues because of Tourette's, but he's an overcomer. I mean, he survives. He makes it on his own. He serves God in his own way, and he's, like I said, he's in the forefront. He's out in the streets. He's witnessing to people that we can never get to. So his ministry to me is gold, and I support him 100%. So that's why I'm plugging him right now. And if the Lord leads you, I'm going to leave a link to his website. And he's got a website called AOK Ministries. Now, TJ's not a preacher or an ordained preacher or anything, but he is a born-again believer who is out in the streets, the byways, the highways, the woods. He's finding people that really need the Lord, that are at the end of their rope. Some of these people, they die from overdoses. They die from exposure. They're starving to death, guys. He's helping them. So anything you do for him, he's going to help others with it. So if there's, like I say, if you feel led, and I'm not putting pressure on you, trying to make you feel guilty. I'm doing this for him and for the Lord, because I know that he is doing a good work for the Lord. Or I wouldn't be telling you this, because I'm not going to support something I don't believe in. What I do believe in is what he's doing out there, and he's helping people. And if you find it in your heart and you pray and God leads you to do it, any little support that he can get would be helpful. And he's making videos, but with my thing, I don't have time to do anything but the videos, because I work full time and I'm not able to do a whole lot. But he's there all the time. He's out there doing and making a difference in the public. So, guys, you know the way I see it. If I was in my whole life, if I could have, I always said this too. If I could just know that I helped lead one person to Jesus, my whole life had meaning. And TJ, just in the past few weeks, has led 2 or 3 people to Christ. So, and there will be much more. And Andy's making videos. So, kudos to TJ for what he's doing. The Lord is strong in him, and he is an overcomer. And he has, like I said, the ability to reach places that you and I could never get to. So if you feel led to do it, I ask that you help support him, spread the word, and ask others. But also spread his videos. He's making a message that's going to reach people that are in that position, people that live in that position. Because even homeless people have phones nowadays, guys. I mean, it's not like the olden days where, if they're homeless, how can they have a phone? I mean, it's simple. You get provisions from the government, you get help, you get people helping you, giving you stuff. And they even got free government phones. So there's ways that people have phones and have a little life. They have a life, it's just not a very good one. And those little personal things like a cell phone or a laptop is about all they have. I mean, that's their world. That's how they keep in touch with the world. But they're still people. They still people, and they're not all drug addicts, and they're not all criminals either. These people, some of them have come out of that situation, and they're trying to better their lives. So and in the meantime, they're strong witnesses for the Lord when they're out in that position. And anyways, enough about that, guys. I'm about to put Aleia on here because she wants to say a special thank you to you guys. And before she gets here, I want to show you what her mom got her last night on her way home from work. She had to work this weekend. So what we did was last weekend, my wife, her mom took her out shopping because she got to work this weekend. So I took her out yesterday. So she got a double birthday, But we already had a set amount so we kind of divided that so that we could take her shopping and do whatever. And so she had a blast yesterday and last weekend. So anyways, I want to show you what her mom got her. Hang on one second. We'll pause this for 1 second. So her mama came in last night, and she snuck in. I knew she was coming. She told me on the phone she was coming, so I went and opened the door. And she snuck those in, and with a drink, and we came in the door singing happy birthday to her because she didn't think she was going to get a cake or anything last night. So I thought that she likes cupcakes. She don't care for the cake. She likes the cupcakes. So that was her little special thing. But anyways, guys, I hope that this video blesses you. I hope that some of the stuff that we talked about with the writing on the wall hits home, because I mean this is the facts. This is what's happening. The writing's on the wall. We're going home soon. Be encouraged. Look up, family. Jesus is coming soon. And while we wait, let's occupy. Let's spread the word of God. Let's spread some seeds. If you haven't come to the Lord Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it soon. And oh yeah, I got to bring Sin along. Sindel's my other daughter. I'm sorry. I always get their names mixed up. I'm sorry. I didn't bring Aleia on, so hang on just a second. I'm going to get her.
Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you.
Well, guys, that was Aleia's thank you. She's a little bit camera shy, and I think it's just because it was a little overwhelming. A lot of people wished her happy birthday. I think it made her a little nervous. Didn't it? Anyways, guys, if you haven't accepted the Lord Jesus Christ, do it today. While there's still time, believe the gospel. There's steps in the description. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Believe that, and that he lived a perfect life, died on the cross, was buried. He rose again on the third day, made atonement for our sins with his precious blood. He ascended to heaven, but he promised that he would come back for us one day. And that is our blessed hope, Titus 2:13. Looking for that blessed hope, the appearing of the great God and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.